Chosen one, arrange these things for yourself. Only this can save you. It's happening. Echoed through the dream like a thunderclap that refused to fade. Alex woke up drenched in sweat, heart pounding as if he'd just outrun something ancient and unstoppable. The words weren't his, they felt delivered, carved into the inside of his skull by an unseen hand. He had never believed in prophecies or chosen ones. Life in the city had taught him to trust only what he could see, touch, or pay for. But tonight, everything changed. It started small, months earlier. Strange synchronicities, numbers repeating on clocks, 11:11, 3:33, songs on the radio answering questions he hadn't voiced aloud, feathers appearing on his windowsill in the middle of winter. He dismissed them as coincidences. Then the dreams began, vivid, recurring visions of a gathering storm, not of clouds, but of energies, timelines collapsing, shadows lengthening across the world. In every dream, a voice, calm, urgent, genderless, whispered the same phrase, "Chosen one, arrange these things for yourself. Only this can save you. It's happening." Alex tried ignoring it. He threw himself into work, late nights at the office, scrolling feeds until his eyes burned. But the pressure built. Objects moved slightly when he wasn't looking, lights flickered when he felt angry. Once, a mirror cracked when he stared too long at his reflection, as if the glass couldn't hold the weight of what looked back. One night, unable to sleep, he sat on the floor of his apartment with a notebook. The voice returned, not in his ears, but inside his chest, like a second heartbeat. "Write them down, arrange them. Time is folding. Only preparation will anchor you." He began listing what came to mind, fragments that felt like puzzle pieces from different boxes. Water, not just to drink, but to store. Clean sources would vanish first. Fill every container, learn to purify what remains. Salt, the old preserver. It grounds energy, protects thresholds. Keep it in bowls at doorways, corners, windowsills. It would become more valuable than gold when chaos arrived. A small flame, candles, matches, a lighter that never left his pocket. Electricity would fail. Fire would be truth in the dark. Warmth, signal, purification. Silence. Not just quiet, but deliberate stillness. The world would scream distractions, fear, noise, false saviors. Train the mind to retreat inward. Meditation wasn't optional anymore. It was armor. Roots, literal and metaphorical. Plant seeds in pots on the balcony. Herbs, greens, anything that could grow without soil from distant farms. And roots of connection, one or two people he truly trusted, no more. The rest would scatter or betray when pressure mounted. Knowledge of the body, how to breathe through panic, how to recognize when energy was being drained, how to ground by touching earth barefoot. The body would be the first battlefield. A single unbreakable promise to himself. He wrote it, "I will not abandon who I am becoming, no matter how much it hurts." As he wrote, the room grew colder, then warmer, as if the air itself was listening. Shadows on the walls stretched longer, forming shapes that almost looked like wings or warnings. He felt watched, not menacingly, but expectantly, like the universe was grading his homework. Days blurred, the news filled with omens, freak storms, markets collapsing overnight, people reporting mass dreams of the same phrase. Social media buzzed with chosen one memes, then vanished under censorship waves. Alex stopped scrolling. He acted. He bought cases of water, stacked them in the closet like fortifications. He found an old iron box and filled it with sea salt from the market. He practiced sitting in total darkness, flame of one candle, his only companion, breathing slow until thoughts dissolved. He reached out to an old friend, Maya, the only person who never laughed at his weird phase. She listened, then quietly said, "I've been dreaming the same thing." They met in a park at dusk, No phones, no recordings, just two people exchanging glances that said more than words. It's real, and it's accelerating. That night, the sky over Karachi turned an unnatural violet. Sirens wailed in the distance, power flickered citywide. Alex stood on his balcony, salt line drawn across the threshold, small flame in hand, water bottles lined up like soldiers. He felt the shift, a ripple through reality, as if the fabric of time was tearing at the seams. The voice returned one last time, softer now. You arranged them. You chose yourself when no one else would. This is how the saving begins, not with armies or miracles from above, but with one soul deciding to hold the line. Alex looked out at the trembling city. Fear was there, yes, but beneath it, something fiercer, certainty. He wasn't waiting to be saved anymore. He had become the arrangement. The chosen one wasn't a title bestowed by gods or fate. It was a decision made in the quiet hours when no one was watching. And as the first wave of whatever was coming, darkness, light, chaos, revelation, Alex stepped forward, flame steady, roots deep, promise unbroken. It was happening, and he was ready. It wasn't a dream at first. It was a fracture in his waking life, slipping through the cracks of everyday monotony like ink bleeding through paper. Alex Rahman, a 32-year-old software engineer in the bustling heart of Karachi, had always prided himself on logic. Code didn't lie. Zeros and ones, inputs and outputs. But this was chaos encoded in prophecy, a glitch in the matrix of his existence. It began innocuously, as these things often do. In the sweltering summer of 2025, Alex noticed the first signs while commuting on the overcrowded bus from Clifton to his office in Sadar. The digital clock on his phone kept freezing at 11:11, no matter how many times he restarted it. At first, he blamed the heat or a faulty battery. Then, feathers, white, pristine, impossible in the dust-choked air, started appearing. One on his desk amid lines of Python scripts, another tucked into his shoe like a forgotten bookmark. He laughed it off with colleagues over chai, calling it Karachi's weird bird migration. But deep down, an unease stirred, like the distant rumble of monsoon thunder. The dreams came next, uninvited guests that turned his nights into battlegrounds. In them, he stood on the edge of a vast, crumbling city, Karachi, but not quite. The Arabian Sea rose in black waves, swallowing landmarks like the Quaid's Mausoleum and the towering Habib Bank Plaza. Shadows slithered through the streets, not monsters, but voids, absences of light that hungered for substance. And always the voice, ethereal, insistent, neither male nor female, echoing from the core of his being. Chosen one, arrange these things for yourself. Only this can save you. It's happening. He'd wake gasping, sheets tangled like restraints, the words branded into his memory. Alex tried to rationalize it. He visited a psychiatrist in defense, a stern woman with wire-rimmed glasses who prescribed anti-anxiety meds and suggested journaling. Stress from work, the city's getting to you. But the pills only dulled the edges, the dreams sharpened. Objects began to rebel, a coffee mug sliding across the table untouched, lights dimming when his frustration peaked, mirrors fogging over with symbols that vanished upon closer inspection, circles, spirals, runes he didn't recognize but felt he should. One rain-soaked evening in October, as floods turned Karachi's streets into rivers, Alex hit his breaking point. Alone in his cramped apartment overlooking the chaotic Lyari Expressway, he collapsed onto the floor, notebook in hand. The voice surged again, not audible but visceral, vibrating through his bones like bass from a distant concert. Write them, arrange them, the veil is thinning, preparation is your shield. Trembling, he began to list. It wasn't random. Each item unfurled in his mind like a scroll, ancient yet tailored to his modern life. He wrote feverishly, the pen scratching paper as if carving stone. Water, the lifeblood, the purifier. In a city where taps ran brown and bottled supplies were rationed during shortages, water was already precious. But this went deeper. Stockpile it, the voice urged, not just for thirst, but for cleansing auras, for dousing the fires of illusion that would soon rage. Alex envisioned reservoirs drying up, not from drought, but from some cosmic drain. He needed to fill jugs, barrels, every vessel, learn filtration, boil, add drops of bleach, or better, harness sunlight in clear bottles. Water would be the anchor when reality liquefied. Salt, the guardian of boundaries. Sea salt, not the iodized table variety. In folklore, Alex half remembered from his grandmother's tales, salt warded off jinn and evil eyes. Now it felt scientific, electrolytes for the soul. Scatter salt across thresholds, doorways, windows, even the balcony railing. Form circles for protection during meditation. When supply chains broke, and they would, salt would barter better than rupees. He pictured black markets in the shadows of shuttered bazaars where a pinch could buy safety. A small flame, the beacon in oblivion. Candles of beeswax, matches sealed in waterproof bags, a Zippo lighter engraved with his initials, a gift from his late father. Electricity grids were fragile. One solar flare or cyber glitch, and Karachi would plunge into medieval darkness. But flame was primal. It cooked. It signaled, it burned away deceit. Alex saw himself igniting it during blackouts, the flicker revealing truths hidden in daylight. Fire as ally, not destroyer. Silence, the fortress of the mind. In a city of honking horns, blaring musicians, and endless chatter, silence was rare. But the voice demanded cultivation. Daily sits in quiet, focusing on breath, letting thoughts dissolve like sugar in tea. The coming storm would amplify noise, propaganda, panic, psychic static. Silence would filter it, revealing intuition's whisper. Alex practiced in his room, ears plugged, world muted, until he could hear his own heartbeat sync with the universe's pulse. Roots, grounding in earth and kin. Plant something, anything. Basil in pots, spinach from seeds scavenged from the market. Urban farming wasn't new in Karachi, where rooftop gardens defied concrete sprawl. But roots meant more, connections to soil that stabilized energy. And human roots pruned the tree. Alex thought of his sprawling family scattered across Sindh, but trust was key. Only a few, his sister in Lahore perhaps, but closer, an old university friend, Maya Khalid. She was the one who understood his phases, never judging. Knowledge of the body, the vessel as a weapon. Learn its signals, the knot in the gut warning of deception, the tingle in palms signaling energy shifts. Yoga poses to ground, breathing techniques to transmute fear into fuel. In the dreams, bodies failed first, succumbing to illusions, draining like batteries. Alex studied online while he could, books on chakras borrowed from a dusty library in Bori Bazaar. Barefoot walks in parks, even if it meant dodging stray dogs and litter. A single unbreakable promise, the core vow. Alex inscribed it. I will honor my becoming, forsaking all that dims my light. No compromises with doubt, no surrender to the herd. This promise was the keystone, binding the arrangements into a coherent whole. As he finished writing, the apartment hummed with energy. The air thickened, shadows danced unnaturally on walls painted with peeling blue. A gust rattled the windows, though no wind stirred outside. Alex felt observed, not by eyes, but by the fabric of existence itself, as if the universe had paused its spin to witness. The following weeks were a frenzy of action. Alex quit his job, citing family emergencies, and cashed in savings. He hauled water crates up 5 flights of stairs, muscles aching, but resolve steeling. Salt arrived in bulk from a wholesaler near the port, its crystals glinting like tiny stars. He sourced candles from artisan shops in Empress Market, their scents of sandalwood masking the city's smog. Silence sessions extended. He meditated at dawn, the call to prayer weaving into his trance. Maya entered the picture on a foggy November morning. They reconnected via a cryptic text. Alex's phone had started glitching, auto-correcting to prophetic phrases. Over coffee in a quiet cafe off Zamzama, she confessed, "I've been having the dreams too. The voice, it's the same." Maya, a freelance journalist with sharp eyes and a skeptic's tongue, had dismissed it until her investigations into global anomalies, mass blackouts in Europe, synchronized bird migrations worldwide, aligned with the warnings. "It's not just us," whispers on the dark web, cults forming in the shadows. Something is converging. Together, they deepened the preparations. Maya brought maps of Karachi's hidden aquifers, knowledge of urban foraging. They practiced energy exercises in her apartment, hands clasped, visualizing protective shields. Romance flickered but remained unspoken. Survival trumped sentiment. Alex shared his list. Maya added an eighth, Allies Accord, a pact to watch each other's backs no matter the cost. The signs escalated. By December, news feeds buzzed with omens, auroras visible over the equator, stock markets yo-yoing without cause, people reporting collective hallucinations. In Karachi, the sky took on an eerie hues, violet at dusk, crimson at dawn. Power outages became routine, blamed on technical faults, but Alex knew better. Social media censored chosen one tags, algorithms burying posts under avalanches of cat videos and ads. One fateful night in January 2026, precisely January 18th, as the clock struck 6:32 p.m., the tipping point arrived. Alex and Maya stood on his balcony, salt lines etched like runes, flames dancing in lanterns. The city below trembled, sirens wailed from afar, traffic halted as if frozen. The Arabian Sea churned unnaturally, waves crashing against Clifton Beach with thunderous fury. Lights across the skyline flickered, then died in waves, plunging neighborhoods into abyss. The voice returned, a chorus now. "You arranged them. The chosen are those who choose. Hold the line as the old world unravels." Chaos erupted. From their vantage, they saw figures in the streets, some fleeing, others standing transfixed, eyes glowing with inner light. Shadows coalesced into forms, testing barriers, recoiling from salt and flame. Alex felt the pull, a vortex of doubt, whispering surrender. But his promise held. Water quenched his thirst for normalcy. Roots tethered him to earth. Silence drowned the cacophony. Maya gripped his hand. "It's happening," she echoed the title, voice steady. As reality warped, buildings shimmering like mirages, timelines bleeding into visions of alternate Karachis, Alex stepped into his role. Not a hero from myths, but a man who had arranged his salvation. The storm raged, but within their fortified space, clarity bloomed. Others would join, drawn by the light of prepared souls. The saving wasn't an end, it was a beginning, a ripple from one chosen heart echoing across the fracturing world. In the heart of the maelstrom, Alex whispered back to the voice, "I am ready." And for the first time, the universe smiled.